welcome back to At Arm's Reach. Last breakdown I introduced 4 steps that I use when preparing for an engagement, and we took a closer look at how moving proactively creates time and space, allowing you to gather information on your opponent. In this breakdown, I will be focusing on the information that's available in-game and the conclusions you can draw about your opponent from that information. Now I feel it's important to mention resources like EFT and PIFA are great tools to use outside of the game. However, they do benefit from a large time investment and don't necessarily tell you specifics about the opponent you are currently facing. For this reason, I will not be focusing on using tools like EFT and PIFA, but instead relying on the information that's available in game and some resources that help you draw some conclusions, and ultimately form a plan for dealing with your opponent. That being said, let's go ahead and get into this breakdown. I'm using the same fight from the last breakdown as an example. However, this time I'm starting the clip just as the comet enters grid. There are 2 main pieces of information I'm looking for. First will be what guns he has, and second will be his speed. Both pieces of information are critical to determining his fit and coming up with a plan to take advantage of his weaknesses. Here, I use the look at command to zoom in close on his ship. Each weapon system in EVE Online has a unique model, and by zooming in on my opponent's ship, I can determine what his weapon system is. Eventually, as you become more experienced in PvP, it's a good idea to memorize the turret models. However, this is where our first out-of-game resource comes into play. This infographic is useful to keep open in a tab as a quick reference guide, allowing you to quickly determine your opponent's weapon system and keying you in to their range and application ability. But this is still only one piece of the puzzle. Moving further into the clip, I'm trying to establish my opponent's speed. Now remember, I've moved proactively away from the beacon, creating space, and as he closes that distance, I'm able to establish a speed, cluing me into his propulsion system. This is important because it allows you to prepare a strategy against their propulsion system, as well as determine whether or not you can even keep range or get away if needed. This is where the second out-of-game resource comes in. This infographic shows the base speeds for T1 and faction combat frigates. In the same vein as the turret models, you can use this infographic as a quick reference, allowing you to draw some conclusions about your opponent. For instance, what propulsion system they have fitted, whether or not they're using links or implants, or possibly if they have speed modules or speed impairing modules like armor plates or armor rigs, or potentially if they just have low skill points. Armed with all this information, I'm able to commit to the fight knowing that I outrange my opponent, have full control over my opponent's speed, and will be able to leave the fight at any time. I hope you've enjoyed this breakdown and found the information I used to be helpful. I've included links to the infographics I used in the description below the video. If you have questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to send me an email in-game or post in the comments section below. As always, I appreciate any and all feedback, and if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe for more EVE content in the future.